The Richmond VFL teams had an amazing win against Box Hill Hawks last night, who were previously undefeated heading into this game. The Tigers holding on for a 25-point win, 14-7-91 to 9-12-66 down at Frankston. Like I said, beating an undefeated Box Hill side, and it now puts us up into the top four in the VFL ladder, which is really, really good. And I say holding on because even though we had a pretty big lead for most of the game, Box Hill reeled it in really, really quickly in the second half. And in the last quarter, they got within 7 points and had plenty of chances to hit the front themselves, but they missed a couple of crucial shots at goal. Then Kane McAullife has a set shot from about 55 metres out. I thought it was a bit beyond him in the distance, but he goes back and slots it, and it gave us just that bit of extra spark, a bit of extra energy, and we went on with it. Because prior to that moment, we had gone into our shells massively, and Box Hill were coming hard at us. So well done to Kane McAullife for slotting that one coolly and calmly, which was much, much needed. But we'll talk about some of the individual performances from the night. Caleb Smith led the way with 31 disposals, 10 marks, 2 tackles, a pretty solid game. He did take a few kickouts as well, but I thought he did really well down back. Tom McCarthy, who's definitely putting his name up for mid-season draft calculations, 22 disposals, 7 marks, 3 tackles, 2 clearances. For me, it's between him and Razzo as to who we might go after if we can get a list spot freed up. It almost feels like that McCarthy feels more of a need with that halfback role potentially, but Razzo's got a bit more X factor. It's a really tricky decision. Kane McAullife, this is a man who has put his best foot forward to put his hand up for AFL selection next week, depending on what happens today, of course. 22 disposals, 7 marks, 11 tackles, if you don't mind, 4 clearances and 2 goals, including the really clutch goal at the end of the game that pretty much sparked us to get the win, to be honest. If he didn't kick that goal, I've got no doubt that Box Hill would have scored again and hit the front. We were in dire circumstances in that last quarter. The guys were gassing out in their feet. So, look, in terms of whose spot he can take, I mean, Thompson Dow's in career best form, so I don't think it's going to be him. I feel like it's Jack Ross who's on the chopping block with Kane McAullife maybe snapping at his heels to get his position. So it'd be interesting to see how Jack Ross goes today. Tyler Sonsie, 19 disposals, 3 marks, 2 tackles, 3 clearances. He didn't play much of the last quarter, being a carryover player for today. But yeah, he was doing right. He spent some time at half forward as well, which I don't mind because it then becomes more relevant with when he does go back into the AFL system. So that could be why his disposal number was down. Jacob Kazitsky had a really, really good game. Honestly, really good game. 18 disposals, 10 marks. It was his ability and his confidence to leave his men and impact the contest to stop a couple of Box Hill forward attacks. It was really impressive. He looked composed when he had the ball. And the 10 marks, like I said, is a really good return. That, to me, that's one of his better games for quite some time. Do I think he's going to crack it back into the AFL side? Probably not. I think there's quite a few in the pecking order ahead of him. But in terms of having some good stability and reliable marking players down back, he had a really, really good game. So well done to Kazitsky. Jacob Blight, 18 disposals, 7 marks. Did okay. Probably left a few marks on the table again, but was attacking the contest well. Josh Smiley, probably the man everyone's most wanting to hear about. 16 disposals, 1 mark, 4 tackles, 2 clearances. He had a reasonably good last quarter, like he really got involved. I'm finding, though, that a lot of his possessions are very heavily contested. So he's either at the bottom of packs dishing the ball out, or as soon as he gets possession, he's pretty much swarmed upon by opposition players. And I actually get the sense that other teams are putting work into him, like you would see at AFL level. He's often getting scragged and scruffed behind the ball. People are trying to wrestle him, throw him off his game. It's a really interesting tactic to do to a new player. They obviously see him as a big threat, and so that's in some ways a bit of a compliment for him. But what we're not seeing yet is his outside run and his actual really nice ball use, like which we saw on the under-18 highlights. So I know I've said this before, and it might not be popular, but I wouldn't mind seeing him spend a little bit of time during quarters on halfback so we can actually try and get some outside ball and run and carry and use his foot skills. He's a beautiful kick of the ball. It's a good weapon, but he's not able to get those kicks away as an inside midfielder currently. They're all kind of blast kicks forward, and his handballs are very creative and they're releasing plays, which is fantastic. But I'd love to see him just get a bit more of the footy, or even play him deeper up forward, try and get him a goal or two, get some confidence up. My other observation on Josh Smiley, and I think, number one, first and foremost, we've got to be a bit more patient with him. And I think he's going to make it. I think he'll be fine. But we've got to remember, he's 195 centimetres. He is a genuine key forward size with the body mass to go with it. He's not a stick figure 195. He is a big boy, like filled out. And the work rate that he would have had to have done in under 18s with the body of that size is far less than what his work rate will be at AFL and VFL level. So I think there's a little bit of a period here where he's going to have to get used to his body size and the demands required from him at that level. It's just going to be very different to what anything he's experienced before. Like, think of it this way. How many weeks, months, years would it have taken for a Jack Riewoldt or a Dave Asprey, something like that, to run through the midfield with their body size? Like, that's kind of what we've got to keep in mind. The size of this kid, he's a genuine key position size, playing as a midfielder. So I think there's a bit of an adjustment period of him getting used to his body size at AFL and VFL level, and I think we'll see improvement. I still think he'll make a debut this year. I don't think it'll be next week. I'm thinking they might try and target the North Melbourne game potentially, but form still needs to permit that as well. Juddy Clark had a really prolific third quarter, to be honest. 16 disposals, 2 marks, 1 tackle, 1 clearance. Played a bit of wing and half back, but yeah, in the third quarter, he had 4 or 5 really good and important disposals in the space of about 3 or 4 minutes. He's starting to get a bit more confidence in his body, which is good. I can really see him pushing for an AFL spot in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Not saying that he'll get in, but I'm saying he'll be knocking on the door and putting some serious heat on the guys in the side, which is good. I don't know where I want him to play, though. I can see the merit in him doing the Dan Rioli role of halfback because he's got good pace, good skill. But I can also see merit on him playing on the wing and half forward, so I'll have to see how that goes there. Campbell Gray, 12 disposals, 6 marks, 4 tackles. For me personally, I thought he was one of our best players in the last quarter in particular. He had 2 or 3 unbelievably good repeat efforts where he would get to a marking contest, spoil it or lay body, the ball would hit the ground, a Box Hill player would swoop on it, and Campbell Gray's back up on his feet, running at him, tackling and causing a secondary turnover. He had a super last quarter that was pivotal to winning that game, to be honest. And like we've said, he was very unlucky to be dropped from the AFL side. But he had another very, very good VFL game, and I'm sure we will see him back in very soon. Razzo, 5 disposals, 3 goals. The kid's class. He's going to get picked up in some way, shape or form. Sims, 9 disposals, 3 tackles, 7 hitouts, 1 clearance. Interestingly, Sims started the ruck in the last quarter and got probably outworked quite a bit, to be honest, by Reeves. But it's a good learning for him. Liam Fawcett, he had 9 disposals, 2 marks, 1 tackle. He had some really good contests, but I would have liked to have seen him convert that shot on goal. Jasper Alger, my man, 9 disposals, which doesn't seem like a lot, but in that 9 disposals, he's kicked 3 goals, including a really clutch contested mark inside 50 and goal at the end, which almost pretty much helped seal the game for us. Really, really good timing to show the courage and the I suppose, the settled nerves for such a young kid. I know I've said this before, but he's the youngest kid in the competition. He's super impressive, and I think he'll be playing AFL in the next month or so, is my guess. And Jacob Bauer had 1 goal. He kicked the sealer, 8 possessions, 3 marks, 2 tackles. I sometimes wasn't impressed with his body language, if I'm being totally honest. I think he's got a bit of work to do in that space. Hayes Brown kicked 2 goals from 4 disposals, and Kalina had a bit of knee soreness, so didn't play much of the game. So that's the VFL report for the game. The Tigers with a lovely win, 25 points, especially after getting smashed by Casey the week prior. You could not ask for a better response, especially against a team who was undefeated. Well done to Jake Batchelor, well done to the players. Hopefully we see more of it in the coming weeks. And yeah, good to see some boys getting a few disposals. Kane McAullife, Jasper Alger, get them into the side ASAP. Let's see what they got.